What's going on, people? So we just learned new details about NBA 2K21, and one of the more interesting aspects outside of this weird fixation surrounding next-gen ray tracing of human sweat is that NBA 2K21 on both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X would be retailing for $69.99 US dollars. That is a full $10 price increase by comparison to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And this has prompted the discussion, or should I say the resurgence surrounding the discussion, of the $60 video game price tag. Is it worth it? Are we paying too little? When you look at the gaming industry as a whole, for the past couple of years, there's been a lot of rumors and rumblings about a potential price hike. And when you compound that with a lot of corporate executives gleefully gloating about how our video game is just too much value for the consumers. It's not a sustainable model at all. That maybe us charging $60 is too little for the amount of value that we provide. Or so they like to say. Whether we wanted to admit it or not, we knew that something had to change within the video game industry. And what we're seeing right now with 2K might be the first glimpse into that harsh reality. So when we're talking about video game prices, at least as it pertains to here in the United States of America, they have remained pretty constant. For the better part of 2 decades, dating back to the launch of the Xbox 360 in 2005, that has been 15 years without a single price increase. And it's also been 15 years since the launch of the Xbox 360. The days start coming and they don't stop coming. It's true. So, for close to 20 years, with no type of inflation whatsoever, is relatively good. When you compare and contrast that to other entertainment mediums, let's take the movie theaters, for example. Here in New York, it has become ridiculously, stupidly expensive to go to the movie theaters. Just take a regular schmegular Monday afternoon. Going to see a movie can cost you close to $20. And that's not even factoring in your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Oh, if you got a family, forget about it. You might as well just mortgage your house if you want to make movie going a sustainable hobby. It's gotten really bad. Hence why programs like AMC A-List and The Real Thing have just been taken off. At least they were taken off until the world shut down. But yeah, Netflix as a whole has been increasing their prices. Amazon, for their Prime delivery service, increased their prices by a crap ton. So for games to not do that is actually really surprising. And if I'm being honest with y'all, I think that we were kind of due for a price hike. If you look at gaming as a whole, going back through history, like let's just take the 1990s, for example, gaming was such an expensive endeavor. It really was. Video games used to retail anywhere from $60 to $80+. And there's a plethora of reasons as to why, developing 4 cartridges was significantly expensive. And then when we entered the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 territory, game prices did come down to around $40 to $50. So for them to increase all of that in the span of 20 years, $10, it's not too much to ask. I know that might not be the most popular opinion, but I am of the belief that, if it's getting more expensive to produce something and you got to pay your workers, I will take a price hike. Especially when you have games that, let's just take Persona 5, for example. As you see here, I have 2 copies of the game. Persona 5 and the updated version, Persona 5 Royal. Between both of these games, I have gotten 400+ hours of playtime. I'm sure many of y'all have a game that has given you so much enjoyment that you bought it full price and you're just like, wow, this is a freaking steal. The Witcher 3, for example, out of my 4 or 5 playthroughs, I've clocked in more than 300+ hours. There are so many games that come out that I have no problem personally paying full price for. And if it increases to $70 and we can keep up with that quality of games, then I'm all for it. That being said, however, I would be foolish if I ignored the fact that this generation in particular, these developers and publishers have gotten very creative with the way that they monetize their games. The $60 price tag is no longer you pay $60, you get the game. The $60 price tag is you get access to the game. You get the privilege of experiencing a portion of the game because you have the $60 price tag, and then you tack on all of the day one DLC, be it cosmetic, whatever, microtransactions, multiple season passes. That $60 price tag ends up becoming an $120+ price tag. And for some gamers out there who like playing these ongoing experiences and they have no problem buying these battle passes and things like that, then hey, more power to you. I just personally think it's kind of weird that they're charging you so much up front and then still doing all of these different practices. So it's strange that NBA 2K, 2K as a company is the first to say that we need to do this because we're giving so much value to our consumer. NBA 2K, you don't even really need to play the game to see that, for an annual sports title that comes out every single year, they make a killing off of VC. They have literally crafted their game experience and what you play surrounding VC. We've seen a lot of developers experiment with making games more grindy. So you go out there and you buy these time savers to what? Save time. Compare and contrast that to games that released 20 years ago where you just bought it and you dealt with the game as is. So while I'm in favor for a price hike, I am not too confident that a lot of these developers who are saying that the reason why we're increasing our prices is because we want to give value to the consumer, we know that's just a load of BS. And where is the truth? Truth often falls somewhere in the middle. Whether or not you are for this price hike or against this price hike, the fact remains that if we still go out there and we buy the games at $70, this is going to become an industry standard. I just told y'all about Persona 5, how I have no problem paying $70 for Persona 6. There are so many people out there, their favorite games, they would go out there and spend $70 on them. Whether it's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, or it's something like the next Resident Evil, or the next Call of Duty, whatever your franchise is, you're going to have somebody who's willing to pay that $70. And it's just the harsh reality of it all. It really is. So while we can bitch and whine and moan and complain about it, if enough people just are there to buy the games day one because they can't miss out, the fear of missing out, then a lot of developers are going to experiment with it. So there's the truth, the unfortunate truth that we got to accept. Now, that being said, me being a realist, I was already very picky about the games that I bought full price anyway. I only buy a handful of full price games every single year. So this is going to prompt me to really examine whether or not this game is going to stay worth it at $70 versus $60. Because there's some titles where I'm just like, you know what, $60 might be a little steep, but I'm going to go ahead and buy it. If we see a Kirby game come out for $70... So looking into game deals and waiting for these games to drop down in price to, it's going to be so weird, save $10 and buy it at $60. It might end up becoming the norm because those $70 video games, when you start stacking them on, you're getting close to $300 for just a handful of games, as opposed to before when you got an extra game for that price. So again, it's just something that's could become a reality. And when you factor in other parts of the world, like Canada or Australia, Japan, places where video game prices have been increasing almost every generation in some places, the United States was kind of due for an increase. But will this cause a ripple effect? And other places will increase their prices too. It's a slippery slope argument, man. It really is. As much as I am for it, I'm also against it because, the DLC, the monetization, the season passes, the egregious versions of those. I don't have a problem with DLC in general, but the bad stuff, that's going to continue happening. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Post your comments down below. What do you guys think about a potential price hike for the video game industry? What camp do you fall in? Are you in the same position as me where you're just like, it could be good for gaming as a whole because people do got to get paid, but at the same time, the video game industry... Okay, I was going to end this video right here, but listen, these are the companies... They're the ones spending the extra money on these games. No one is asking them to go get Hollywood voice over talent. No one asked them to get Kevin Spacey. No one asked them to do all this crazy stuff, do this whole cinematic universe where you got a movie and an anime and all this stuff. No one asked them for that. But they're gonna bring the price on to us. Okay, rant over. Anyways, for media for now, my name is NGS signing out. Like always, I will catch you guys later. They really think $60 is too low of a price? My God.